So I've kind of already mentioned this, but just to kind of remind you of what one of the sort of underlying principles that we are really intent on seeing through and through in our products these days, it's that cross-pollination. It's the injection of core messaging and collaboration capabilities over into the social arena and vice versa. Ed used a rendition of this chart this morning in his keynote, his session right before lunch. That's exactly what we're trying to say here, is that it doesn't matter where you are. It does. I mean, I get it. I'm not stupid in that. But the point is as an employee, I am less productive if you're causing my head to do this and flip in and out of different applications, different sites, different experiences. So open social, at least on the surface level, is the intention is to sort of take that bar down a little bit so that you don't do that. You stay in situation to do what you need to do, instead of flipping you to another experience where you, by the time you get whatever launched and navigate to where you need to be going, you've forgotten why you went there. So that's the point of the slide from my perspective. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the technology is that's underlying this?
So we've pulled in some industry standard technology. We've been on a pattern of really using open standards as much as possible over the last several years. So when it was time to look at really bringing social into Notes, we looked and said, okay, what's the right thing to do? And we settled on Open Social and the Apache Shindig project. And I won't go into too much technical detail on this other than to say that Open Social and Shindig together combine a spec and an implementation of an application container that will run applications called gadgets. Those gadgets can run from websites, web pages, and now with 9.0 inside the Notes client. And iNotes, I might mention. That's one of the areas that we went after complete parity with. So everything you see in Notes in terms of embedded experiences and embedded experience emails will also be available in iNotes, and if you hit that session, you'll be able to see that. So Open Social utilizes OAuth as the security standard. Security is extremely important in this domain because you will be accessing applications that you need to trust, and so that trust handshake is absolutely critical. The team has spent countless person months ensuring that the end-to-end flow of all of this is secure. So I assure you, we have tested that significantly and feel that we have a very reliable and secure environment here to run these applications in. You can build these gadgets using JavaScript, HTML5, all the latest web technology that's powering some of the best applications out there. And the container itself shipped in Connections 4, Connections 4.5. In fact, if you use Connections Mail inside of Connections, Connections Mail is an open social gadget running inside of Connections. The Connections activity stream, update stream, is an open social gadget. And as you saw in the OGS this morning, we now have the update stream inside of Notes. These components will come shipped inside the Notes install kit as an optional install component. And there will also be a component that you can add to your Domino server. I want to emphasize this isn't a new server that you will need to stand up. A Domino server will be updated with a few additional components. There's some configuration that takes place, and you'll be up and running with it. Okay, great. So you also heard in the OGS the power of social. We've been hearing about it for a long time, and we've now brought that inside of the Notes client. We know everybody spends a lot of time in here. Now let's start integrating some of those usage patterns in here. So this is the update stream, and I'm just going to put my update in first there. Thank you for that, by the way. I'd like to share these good news. I can get to the update stream with this one-click shortcut button. And when I'm in, this is exactly what the update stream looks like if I were to bring up Connections right now. This is Connections 4.5. It's the projected UI. It's not final yet. But I can take the same actions. I can filter my update stream to status updates, notifications, at mentions for me, etc. And functionally, it's the same as in Connections. I can click on any of these entries, and what pops up is an embedded experience so that I can take action on this. I can like, repost, add comments, etc. directly in here, directly in Notes. I don't have to go to a different tool to start participating in the social activity that's taking place in my organization. And I personally haven't made the leap completely into living in my update stream, prefer to use updates in my email flow to stay in touch with what's happening, because that's the thing I'm looking at most of the time. I've now opened this email that has the same embedded experience running inside the email. So this is live content. This is now taken, if I don't say actionable, Scott is going to clip me on the back of the head. So this has taken what otherwise would be a fairly non-actionable email, and it's allowed me to take action on this. So my boss says, thanks, survey looks good to me. That's always good. I'm going to like it. And I'm going to post a comment back that says, sending to customer tonight. And this is within the email. So now, you can't see it, but in Scott's update stream, he just got an update from me on the top of his update stream live. And when Scott opens that update stream and adds a response.
Well, okay, I'll do that.
Adds a response. You'll see the update will come directly back into the email, so that the email always has the latest and greatest content for whatever that is. There's Dennis's response, a response. So I know I can go back to the email and I can see the latest. I don't have to hunt and peck and search in a different system. I can categorize it, file it directly in Notes, and always get back to that content. Okay.
Let's go back over to mine for just a second.
Let's go back over to Scott's. He's got some more cool use cases.
One other,
on embedded
back to number
experiences.
one. Yeah, you're already there. Thanks, Guy. Just one other example of embedded experience. That's great, doing that two-way exchange, but in reality, approving things is probably a place that makes sense for most people to start with this stuff. This is an example that came from something that we refer to as Lombardi. Internally, it's IBM's business process management technology. And this is just a simple example. It could have been SAP. It could have come from some CRM, whatever it is. The point here is that I'm not doing that flipping my head back and forth to have to go jump somewhere else and navigate through some tool to get to a point where I need to make an approval. So probably typical of what most of you experienced to come here, approve somebody's travel expense or travel request, hit submit, and off it goes, and the workflow or whatever was hooked up on the back end would take place. So pretty cool stuff in terms of embedded experiences. And we've really only scratched the surface with embedded experiences. There's a ton more.